Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to share 3 easy ways you can help promote positive discussion amongst your students. A few weeks ago, I shared a video that looked like this, and in that video, I talked about 3 phrases you, the teacher, should use in your classroom to help build student agency. At the end of that video, I shared that I have one more talk type video that I wanted to share, and this one is it. So while that video focused on teacher talk, this one is going to focus on student talk and just some of the ways we can help our K-2 students facilitate meaningful discussions with one another. If you've watched my videos before, then welcome back, and if not, my name is Susan Jones. I'm a former 1st grade and K-2 literacy teacher who now spends a lot of time here on YouTube sharing tips, ideas, activities, quick and easy things that you can take and use in your classroom right away. So if you're ready for some ideas for getting students to talk nicely to one another and actually have meaningful discussions, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. Tip number 1 for holding positive conversations with your students is you need to create classroom norms for discussions. Now, you well know as a kindergarten 1st or 2nd grade teacher that sometimes if you ask your students to just get in groups and start discussing, you just hear crickets. Because they don't necessarily know how to do that just yet. Or you might have 1 or 2 students kind of railroad the conversation and take over and not stop talking. That would be me. So it's very important that you create these norms for your students so they understand what these conversations should look like and lay down the ground rules for what respectful and positive conversations even look like and sound like. Now, in my classroom, we would use something that looked like this, and it was pretty basic, and it would just say that we listen with our eyes, our ears, and our heart. And the way we describe that is first we listen with our eyes, so when someone is speaking, our eyes are looking right at them as a sign of respect. We also listen with our ears, meaning we're actively listening to what they're saying, because we often know that we can kind of stare at someone and then we're not really listening, we're just kind of zoning out. So we do want to make sure we're checking in with what they're actually saying. And that last one, we listen with our heart. The way we described that in our classroom was we treat others the way we want to be treated. So for example, I know that if I were speaking out loud and sharing something with someone and they were just ignoring me, or they were interrupting me, or maybe they were just talking to someone else while I was speaking, that wouldn't exactly make me feel very good. That wouldn't be very kind. That might hurt my feelings. And we want to give that same respect to others as they are speaking as well. I recently read an article from The Reading Teacher about facilitating meaningful discussions, and they used an anchor chart like this one. You can see it says, "Let's talk." And they use the let's part to identify some norms for their discussions. So L, it says listen and look at the speaker. E is equal participation, which I liked because that way students are thinking about, hey, wait a second, am I talking too much or am I not participating enough? Maybe other people need to kind of join in, which brings us to T, which is take turns. And then the S is sit up and show respect. And then they have talk at the bottom. This simple act of creating norms from the beginning is something that is often overlooked. And when you're creating these norms with your students, there's so many different ones you can pick and choose from. And you may want to sit down and do this with your class because they might have some ideas that you haven't thought of just yet. Tip number 2 to promote positive discussion amongst your students is to provide sentence stems. Sentence stems make for a great scaffold for your students, and they don't necessarily need to be required, but especially when we introduce them at first, I often very strongly urge and encourage my students to try to use them when speaking to one another in a positive and respectful manner. Here's an example of some sentence stems I would use in my classroom, and I actually share this photo in my interactive read aloud unit over on TPT because when we are having interactive read alouds and talking about text, I really like to focus on respectful discussions, so I even include that in here. But you can see some of the sentence stems we start with are I agree with blank because blank, I disagree with blank because blank, I like what you said about blank, I think ... and I heard you say ... blank, and I'd like to add more. These sentence stems actually do quite a bit to promote positive discussion. What it does is, first, it links student ideas when they say, I agree with Bobby, and by naming that student, they're actually honoring what that student said. And in some of them it says, I heard you say blank, and the student has to go ahead and revoice what that other student said. And I mentioned that in my teacher talk video, that active revoicing is such an important one because it shows that, number one, you were listening. Number two, it shows that you are trying to clarify or make a connection with what that person has said, and it really honors and respects that person's opinion and their ideas. Now, students don't only need to use the sentence stems when speaking, but what it does is it takes a lot of pressure off those students who might feel a little bit shy or not know how to participate just yet. So by looking at those sentence stems up there, it gives them an easy go-to to be able to participate. The sentence stems also take a lot of pressure off the teacher and kind of puts that onto the students. It is now their responsibility. I have showed you exactly how you can participate. Here's what you could say, and now it's your turn. Kind of take it and roll with it. And now, while I do think these sentence stems are imperative for our youngest learners, K1 and 2, I actually just watched a whole PD video with these 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students in their history and science class, and they themselves use similar sentence stems, and they would actually have like a little sheet that they kept on their desk, and every time they would use one of those sentence stems, they would kind of mark it off. And again, it allowed students that crutch, if needed, to be able to participate in a meaningful way. So it works for students of all ages. Tip number 3 for promoting positive talk in the classroom is going to be use color-coded sticky notes. Now, with tip number 1, we kind of laid out what our ground rules should be, what discussion looks like and sounds like. With tip number 2, we provided some sentence stems to get students started. But now, what are students actually talking about when they get in these discussions? You can, of course, get this started with some fun topics at the beginning of the year, like just having students share what they did over the weekend, or asking some fun ideas like, do you think students should be allowed to chew gum in school? And then think about reasons why or why not. That kind of gets students going, and they can use that I agree with or disagree with sentence stem. But realistically, I like to use these discussions surrounding literacy and academic topics. So when you're doing that, you want students to be able to come to the discussion with some ideas already in their head. They may not always have them, but by using these color-coded sticky notes that I'll explain in a minute, it will at least get them started with some ideas. So when your students are doing their independent reading, or maybe they're even in a small group with you, however they're exploring books, you can give them 4 different color sticky notes to mark their ideas to then bring and discuss afterwards. Now, I mentioned independent reading, but you can also do this whole group as well, where you would read one book aloud and students would have all 4 of the color post-it notes. And when they find something that matches one of the post-it notes categories, they can just write it down as you're reading. So for example, those 4 different post-it notes could be, one could be connections. So let's say the blue post-it note is for connections, and anytime a student makes a connection, either with their own life, another text, or something in the world, they can write it down. Or if they're doing independent reading, they don't necessarily have to write it. They could just mark the page with that post-it note. A red or pink post-it note could be a heart, and it could be for their favorite part of the story. So if they really, really enjoy something, they can go ahead and mark that part. I always like to do one post-it note. So let's say this green one down here has a question mark, and that can be for questions that they have that they're generating as they read this text or listen to the text. And that 4th one can always be a wild card, or something that you and the class are working on, and the teacher can actually designate it for your students. So those other ones may stay the same throughout the rest of the year, but this yellow one might change. For instance, if you're working on inferences, you might say, as you're reading today, or as I read the story, I want you to note when you find an inference in the story, and use this yellow post-it to write it down. Or maybe you're working on character traits. You can say, as I'm reading this story, or as you're reading your own story, think of a character trait for that main character and write it down here. What I like about this activity is it gives students a purpose for their reading. So while they're reading, either independently or listening to you, they are actively thinking about these different comprehension strategies. They're thinking about what they're learning, they're making connections, and then they get to take those post-its back to their small discussion group, and they can actually discuss them amongst their group. Just like those sentence stems, it gives students a starting off point to be able to actually discuss the books, and so they can come with something to share. You can do the same thing if you're working on a science topic, social studies, or if you're just reading nonfiction books. You might change up the post-it categories. You might want to keep that connections one, and then one would be new learning. Whenever we're doing informative text, I really like to focus on new learning and having students write down different things that they are learning and they're excited to learn about. Now, the example I gave, of course, is with fiction texts, but you can also do this with your social studies block, you can do it during the science block, and you can just do it with informative texts. I often like to switch up the post-it notes if we're doing it with informative text. I'd probably keep the connections one. Instead of my favorite part, I would have one for new learning. So I would have students really focus on the new facts that they're learning as they read. Questioning I would definitely keep, and then maybe for your wild card, you would think about having students point out the non-fiction text features that they find in the text. So there you have just some ideas for promoting positive and productive talk in your K through 2 classroom. That article I mentioned earlier in the video from The Reading Teacher, I'm gonna go ahead and link that down in the description in case you want to read more. It was just a quick little article with an idea and examples they had from a first grade classroom where a lot of these same ideas are echoed, and it shares how it went in that first grade classroom. It is a scholarly article, so I believe you will either need to pay to access it or you might need to go into a database to grab it, but I'll put all of the references down below so you can take a look if you're interested. As always, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you use any of this stuff already in your classroom or if you plan to use it next year, let me know down in the comments. And if you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That bell lets you get notified of every new video that I upload. See you next time. Bye.